Hentai, my guy. Welcome back to the video corner. Today's a little different. I'm going to be reading from a Wikipedia page. That's why everything looks so fancy. We got a fireplace and a mug. Can't see right now, but I got you. You'll see it. In recent videos, I mentioned a place called Oneida, well, a community called Oneida that used to exist, but now this community is a famous silverware company. It's been famous for many years. And honestly, it's my favorite Wikipedia topic. Like, honestly though, it's quite funny. The reason why I know about this community is because, I don't want to say blessed, but my American history teacher blessed me on some knowledge about Oneida. And I'll tell you the fact that he told us in class. He told us that in Oneida, this community that used to exist, elderly people would mentor younger kids in how to have sex. Now, of course, it grossed everybody out in my classroom. Now, it kind of shocked me, but I wasn't really grossed out because, honestly, at this point, I hang out with a whole bunch of 15-year-old boys. Literally can't gross me out. Some of the stuff we all say. So you can't really gross me out. So everyone was grossed out besides me. And I thought it was really interesting. Now, for Christmas, dang it, the light's messing up because Maryland's right here, so sorry. But for Christmas, or whatever, I thought it'd be funny if I bought my teacher something made by Oneida, because it's still, the silverware company is still prominent, so I bought him a jar. Now, buying this jar actually led me to do more research on Oneida. Now, I have the Wikipedia page, and I'm going to be reading it as I sip hot chocolate near this fake fire, and I stir my hot chocolate with a spoon that happens to be made by Oneida. Let's kick it. According to Wikipedia, the Oneida community was a perfectionist religious communal society founded by John Humphrey Noyes in 1848 in Oneida, New York. The community believed that Jesus had already returned in AD 70, making it possible for them to bring about Jesus' millennial kingdom themselves and be free of sin and perfect in this world. Not just in heaven. Not just in heaven. The Oneida community practiced communalism, complex marriage, male sexual continence, and mutual criticism. There were smaller Noysian communities in Wallingford, Connecticut, Newark, New Jersey, Putney, and Cambridge, Vermont. Sorry if I'm butchering all this. I've never read this part of the Wikipedia page. I only got into the different parts. I'll read it. The community's original 87 members grew to 172 by February 1850, 208 by 1852, and 306 by 1878. The branches were closed in 1854, except for the Wallingford branch, which operated until devastated by a tornado in 1878. The Oneida community dissolved in 1881 and eventually became the Silverware Company Oneida Limited, which this spoon happens to be made from them. It's quite a good spoon. Community structure. Even though the community only reached a maximum population of about 300, it had a complex bureaucracy of 27 standing committees and 48 administrative sections. The manufacturing of silverware, the sole remaining industry, began in 1877, relatively late in the life of the community, and still exists. Secondary industries included the manufacture of leather travel bags, the weaving of palm frond hats, the construction of rustic garden furniture, game traps, and tourism. All community members were expected to work, each according to his or her abilities. Women tended to do many domestic duties, although more skilled jobs tended to reign with an individual member. Community members rotated through the more unskilled jobs, working in the house, the fields, or the various industries. As Oneida thrived, it began to hire outsiders to work in these positions as well. They were a major employer in the era, with approximately 200 employees by 1870. Okay, now we're getting actually into the juicy stuff, the things that's actually interesting. Buckle your seatbelts, boys, because this stuff's fantastic. Complex marriage. Okay, never mind. I'm not getting into the juicy stuff. But complex marriage. The Oneida community believes strongly in a system of free love. Never mind. We're getting into the weird stuff. Alright. Free love. Known as complex marriage, where any member was free to have sex with any other who consented. Possessiveness and exclusive relations were frowned upon. So, like, you know how people date nowadays? Like, you know, normally? That would actually be frowned upon in this community. Hold on. Yeah, unlike 20th century social monuments such as the sexual revolution of the 1960s, the Oneidans did not seek consequence-free sex for pleasure, but believed that because the natural outcome of the intercourse was pregnancy, raising children should be a communal responsibility. Women over the age of 40 were to act as sexual mentors to adolescent boys, as these relationships had minimal chance of conceiving. Big brain. That's the fact that my teacher told us, and everyone was like, oof. Furthermore, these women became religious role models for the young men. Likewise, older men often introduced young women to sex. Noyes often used his own judgment in determining partnerships that would form, and would often encourage relationships between non-devout and the devout in the community, in the hopes that the attitudes and behaviors of the devout would influence the non-devout. In 1993, the archives of the community were made available to scholars for the first time. Contained within the archives was the journal of Tirzah Miller, Noyes' niece, who wrote extensively about her romantic and sexual relations with other members of the Oneida. I was going to tell my teacher to watch this video. You know, the teacher that told us the fact in the first place. Maybe not now. You know what? Whatever. He told us the fact. He gets what he gets. Mutual criticism. This is really cool. Every member of the community was subject to criticism by the community or the community as a whole. During a general meeting, the goal was to eliminate undesirable character traits. Various contemporary sources contended that the Noyes himself was subject to criticism, although less often and probably less severe criticism than the community. So the guy who ran it would even get criticism, which was quite interesting. Charles Nordhaus said he had witnessed the criticism of a member he referred as Charles, writing, okay. Now, this is a whole, paragraph, okay? I'm not going to read it all. If you really care, which you probably don't, read the Wikipedia yourself. It's on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. It's Kid Nintendo. It's an art, but I have a link to Oneida, the Wikipedia page on my Twitter, so. Alright, we're going to the next section. Male continence. To control reproduction within the Oneida community, the system of male continence, or coitus reservations, was enacted. John Humphrey Noyes decided that sexual intercourse served two distinct purposes. In male continence, Noyes argues that the method simply proposes a subordination of the flesh to the spirit, teaching men to seek principally the elevated spiritual pleasures of sexual connection. The primary, end quote. The primary purpose of male continence was social satisfaction, to allow the sexes to communicate and express affection to one another, end quote. The second purpose was procreation. Of around 200 adults using male continence as birth control, there were 12 unplanned births within Oneida between 1848 and 1868, indicating that it was a highly effective form of birth control. Young men were introduced to male continence by women who were post-menopause, and young women who were experienced older males. So that goes into even more detail of the fact that my teacher told us, and yeah. Oh no. I told my teacher. I'm going to tell my teacher to watch this video. Okay? He can deal with it. It's his problem. Somebody kill me. Alright, Noyes believed that nutting, just go with it, that nutting drained men's vitality and led to disease. In pregnancy and childbirth, levied a heavy tax on the vitality of women, end quote. Noyes founded male continence to spare his wife, Harriet, from more difficult childbirths after 5 traumatizing births, of which 4 led to death of the child. They favored this method of male continence over the methods of other birth control because they found it to be natural, healthy, and favorable for the development of intimate relationships. Okay. Women found increased sexual satisfaction in the practice, and Oneida is regarded as highly unusual in the valley. They placed a women's sexual satisfaction. If a male would fail, he placed public disapproval or private rejection. I was going to say something, but I'm telling my teacher to watch. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say it. When you gotta stop yourself from saying something, so you suck down the tea so quick. It is unclear whether practice of male continence led to significant problems. Sociologist Lawrence Foster sees hints in Noyes' letters indicating that hand-shandying and antisocial withdrawal from the community life may have been issues. Okay, so it's unclear whether the practice of male continence led to significant causes. Sociologist sees hints in Noyes' letters indicating that nutting, like hand-shandying, and social withdrawal from the community may have been issues. Oneida's practices of male continence did not lead to impotence. Oh, well, not it. Okay. I'm gonna say this wrong, but stirrup culture. The Oneida community introduced a program of eugenics, then known as stirrup culture, in 1869. 1869. It was a selective breeding program designed to create more perfect children. Communitarians who wished to be parents would go before the committee to be matched based on their spiritual and moral qualities. 53 women and 38 men participated in this program, which necessitated the construction of a new wing of the Oneida Community Mansion House. The experiment yielded 58 children, 9 of whom were fathered by Noyes. So the guy who ran it had 9 children within this thing. Once children were weaned, usually around the age of 1, they were raised communally in the children's wing, or the South Wing. Their parents were allowed to visit, but the child's department held jurisdiction over raising the offspring. If the department suspected a parent and a child were bonding too closely, the community would enforce a period of separation because the group wanted to stop the affection between parents and children. Oof. The children's department had a male and female supervisor to look after the children between ages 2 and 12. The supervisors made sure children followed the routine: dressing, prayers, breakfast, work, school, lunch, work, playtime, supper, prayers, and study, which were adjusted according to age and ability. Role of women. I actually haven't read this part. I haven't read most of the parts. Just, the male continence ones and other ones. Role of women. Oneida embodied one of the most radical and institutional efforts to change women's role and improve female status in the 19th century America. Women gained some freedoms in the commune that they could not get on the outside. Some of these privileges including not having to care for their own children, as Oneida had a communal child care system, as well as freedom from unwanted pregnancies with Oneida's male continence practice. In addition, the lights looks like it's freaking out. Alright, in addition, they were able to wear functional bloomer-style clothing and maintain short haircuts. Women were able to participate in practically all types of community work. While domestic duties remained a primary female responsibility, women were free to explore positions in business and sales, or as artisans or craftsmen. And many did so, particularly in the late 1860s and early 1870s. Last, women had an active role in shaping commune policy, participating in the daily religious and business meetings. The complex marriage and free love systems practiced at Oneida further acknowledged female status. Through the complex marriage arrangement, women and men had equal freedom in sexual expression and commitment. Indeed, sexual practices in Oneida accepted female sexuality. Everyone's right to satisfy sexual experience was recognized, and women were encouraged to have a taco shake. However, a woman's right of refusing sexual overture was limited depending on the status of the man who made the advance. So, oof. Alright, some lady who was in the community or something, some lady said that men and women had roughly equal status in the community. She points out that while both sexes were ultimately subject to noise, vision, and will, women did not suffer any undue oppression. So that's pretty lit. Alright, no one cares about interaction with outside society. Alright, the whole rest of it's just boring stuff. I really just want to read some of the parts. Now,